it is perhaps the most random of all the major ICC tournaments. I mean, dead one year, alive the next. So the Champions Trophy is finally here, Ayaz. So we'll talk about the other teams as the tournament progresses, but let's start off with India. So the major point is that Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out of the tournament, but given the fact that India play all their matches in Dubai, which is expected to be slow and turning, and the fact that India have 5 spinners, do you think this is perfect for India to be able to do this without Bumrah?
Well, I mean, look, India has built up the momentum that they've gathered, beating England 3-0 in the series at home. And of course, the fact that India's prowess in white ball cricket has been, quite evident over the past couple of years, reaching the final of the ODI World Cup in 2023, winning the T20 World Cup. And then lately, after a disastrous test series in Australia, to kind of, get all the men, all the people who were under a cloud, under a shadow of doubt about their form, they've all sprung back into form. So there's Rohit Sharma, who looked in very good form. Virat Kohli's also struck form. Shubman Gill was the batsman for India, the batsman for India against England. And then bowlers have come back. There's so much heft in the bowling. There's Hardik Pandya, who I think is the most vital cog in India's, armory, if you might call it that. And then the return of Mohammad Shami, young Arshdeep Singh, adding variety and obviously a lot of skills to the bowling attack, and then the plethora of spinners, and all of them doing well. So all boxes ticked, except of course, as you mentioned, Jasprit Bumrah not being there. So which is, in a sense, will offer psychological relief to opposing teams. But I think India, the kind of composition that they've got and the balance that they've got, the talent that they've got, surely start as firm favorites now that we know that Australia is almost at half strength in this tournament.
Yeah. So also on that question about Dubai, do you think it's a bit unfair for the other teams given that India will play only in Dubai? They know the ground, they know the conditions better, and they don't have to travel.
I mean, look, that became an eventuality, after India's position on not playing in Pakistan became, and that was pretty much evident when the tournament itself was announced. So I think, the controversy which kind of erupted a couple of months back was belated. I mean, it could have the issue was fermenting from the time Pakistan got to host the tournament. Now, does that serve as an advantage or a disadvantage for India? We'll have to wait and see what kind of pitches are available there. Remember that apart from India, I mean, the other Bangladesh, they may be familiar, but recently what's happened, what is the state and the condition of the pitches? New Zealand, they'll also be a little, they've had a good time in Pakistan. They would have actually preferred to be playing in Pakistan in many ways, but they have to play India in Dubai. So I think it's a bit of a mixed bag where what will happen to which team playing where. I think India need to be, you know, in that sense very focused because they've got they've chosen to be in Dubai or outside of Pakistan, and now they have to make it count because it's not too many teams. It's only 8 teams this tournament. You got 3 matches in Pool A. For both pools, there are three matches each, and you have to win at least two. If they win the first two, Bangladesh and Pakistan, they'll be pretty much in the semis. But if they get a setback in one of these matches, then it could throw things a little out of whack.
Yeah. So coming to India's opponents in that league stage. So first off, they take on Bangladesh, then the blockbuster clash against Pakistan, and then New Zealand. So what are you expecting from the three teams, and specifically from Pakistan, who I think this tournament means the most to, given that they are hosting an ICC event after a long time, and also they're defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, defending champions, you would put it in quote unquote because that was like
Yeah.
2017, and there's a lot that has
Yeah.
happened in international cricket since. What one of the things which has happened is Pakistan's stock has plummeted quite, alarmingly actually, in Test cricket, in T20 cricket, and certainly in ODI cricket. Remember the last two World Cups they didn't even reach the semis, so they need. You're right. I mean, as the host country and as the defending champions, they have a lot to play for, but their run in form heading into the tournament has been rather, shabby. In the Tri Series at home, they were beaten by New Zealand. Won that tournament, so they had a good game against South Africa, but that's just about all. They have actually a lot of issues, I think, Pakistan in the composition of their team and the form of some of their players, the key players like Babar Azam still struggling for runs, and also while Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah bowled reasonably well, they haven't looked ominous or destructive. And really, I think playing at home or in Dubai, wherever they're playing, they don't have, in my opinion, match-winning spinners, and that could be a problem for them in this tournament.
Yeah. So, lastly, you touched upon this. You said the fact that Australia are playing at half strength, they don't have Cummins, Hazelwood, or Stark. Do you think there has been speculation that maybe some teams are not looking very seriously at this tournament, given that it's the Champions Trophy, it's not a World Cup, and they have the IPL to look forward to? If that is true, we don't know, we won't speculate. But in case that is true and that is what team managements are thinking about, do you think it's the perfect opportunity for a team like Afghanistan to become the dark horse?
Well, it's obviously an opportunity for all the other teams, apart from Australia, if they're not, because Australia is currently the best team in the world in Test cricket. Maybe not in T20 because they didn't win the tournament. India won that, but ODI World Cup, they are champions. So at least in this format, they're pretty much were the best team going into this tournament. But then there's no Pat Cummins, there's no Josh Hazelwood, there's no Mitchell Stark, there's no Mitch Marsh. That's a lot of players, frontline players were not there. So I think it just opens up avenues for the other teams. In my opinion, the second favorite after India is New Zealand. They've always historically, if you look at Western New Zealand, they've always been a very good team. And I think the advantage for them even here is that they've got a plethora of all-rounders, much like India, who bat deep, and they've got spinners. There's Mitch Santner, there's Rachin Ravindra who can bowl. They've got players like Daryl Mitchell, Matt Henry. Henry can bat a bit, and so on. So and Ken Williamson's back and looking in very good touch. So they've got a very good team, informed team, and that's a team that all other teams will have to kind of play with some respect. Certainly, India. I think Australia, even without their formidable pace battery, you can never discount Australia. They've got Steve Smith, they've got Glenn Maxwell. These guys know how to win matches. Australia, when they take the field, they take the field to win, not lose. And yes, their attention may be focused on the World Test Championship final, which is going to come up later in the year. But I don't think that on paper they look strong enough or good enough to win the tournament. But hey, this is Australia. Afghanistan would be a team to watch out for. I think the laggards here are England for their current poor form, and of course Bangladesh, in my opinion. But Afghanistan, they've showed even in the 2023 World Cup that they can be a team which can pull off really big upsets. They have beaten England in 2023. In the past, they've beaten Pakistan and so on and so forth. So nobody would take that team lightly, especially given the kind of bowlers that they got. But they've also come up well in batting and in fast bowling.
Yeah, so the Champions Trophy starts tomorrow. India's first match is day after, and we'll come back to you after that. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. See you next time.
Thanks, Anirudh. We'll catch up soon.